Welcome back to a little bit of cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast. We've had a whole Memorial Day. It's been almost 2 weeks. It's over a week and a half since we've had a podcast. And as kind of the theme, I apologize once again. Life just continues to life. I got a new job. I moved to Green Bay. It was Memorial Day, which of course I didn't think. Of course, we weren't going to go and record a podcast. I was actually at the Brewers game on Memorial Day when they beat Boston. That was my father's 50th birthday. So happy birthday, Jeff, on that. And that was really where Milwaukee got hot. They went on an 8-game win streak, and that's a win streak that just ended about an hour ago, as they did just lose game 2 of the series against Cincinnati. But Christian Yelich is on a 10-game hit streak. He had a stretch of the week where he hit 5 home runs, and he looked like old vintage 2019, 2018 Christian Yelich. Are you believing in this, or is this a tease from Christian Yelich?
Oh, I'm believing. It took me a second to think about it, and I think it's worth taking a beat to think about. But, man, it feels good. Yeah, pitchers are starting to throw him outside. They're pitching to him a little bit differently. Just watching the past couple of games, he's getting a lot of his sinkers that are a good couple balls below the plate, way outside pitches. They're really testing working pitches against him, so they're pitching him differently. The other teams know that Yelich is back. Last time we potted, he was hitting his batting average of 184. Was it 12 days later? He's up to 238. That's the guy's up 50 points in 2 weeks. That is absolute nonsense. We were talking about the contract is a bust. Oh, $30 million for what? And you call it all along. Christian Yelich 184 was never going to stick around for very long. He's been hitting the ball hard, and it's starting to leave the park. And man, it feels good.
And when he is right and he can swing it like that, he carries the Milwaukee Brewers. He is really, truly the heart and soul. He is the engine that makes that car move. We have seen him do it before, and it's really been absent. I mean, last year, the Brewers were able to win all those games, and a good chunk of them were with Christian Yelich, actually, but a good chunk of them were also without. And it really wasn't Christian Yelich being the center and being what made that car go. But what you saw in this last week, yes, the rest of the offense played well as well. Jackson Chourio had a good week. Rhys Hoskins has looked great. Sal Frelick, I think, might make an all-star team this year, and that's going to be maybe a crazy trivia question. I hope it's not a crazy trivia question, because I would hope that he makes multiple all-star teams. But he looks great. Bryce Terang is there. Caleb Durbin looks like he can take major league at-bats. I don't think he's a solid starter, but I think he can take at-bats, and I feel comfortable. Joey Ortiz is at least drawing walks, and he's playing really good defense. I mean, he's still hitting a $185, so it's kind of you're going to live and die with Joey Ortiz at shortstop. But this team is working well, and it's working well because Christian Yelich, like we said, he's not the vocal leader. Well, you saw his leadership on the field in this last week. Literally the National League Player of the Week last week. It's like I met my wife about 4 years ago, and I always told her, you don't know how good Christian Yelich was. Before we met, he was that player that you had to watch. Everybody in the state knew who he was. And even she knew who he was before I met her. She's like, oh, yeah, that Yelich guy that everybody thinks is cute. And I was like, yes, he used to be a freak of nature. And you're seeing a flash of that once again. And I think I'm with you. I don't think this is just a tease. I don't think that guy is ever going to come back and be there for an entire 2 seasons like he was during that stretch, because there are actually not many Major League Baseball players in all of the league's history that were as good as Christian Yelich was over those 2 seasons. So it's hard to expect for that to come back. But I think you have an all-star, and if he continues to stay on this stretch that he is, which is going to be impossible to keep up because he hit 450 over the last week, hit a home run again yesterday as well, and another RBI single. Actually, he had 2 more hits today, I think. He's got his average up to 240. It was at $185. I remember you texted me, and literally said, I think it was verbatim, he needs to go down in the order. This has become embarrassing. And this is where, once again, negativity is positivity. The more we talk bad about these guys, they must know. And then they go and perform like this. And Yelich is at a level that we have not seen in a long time. I hope it continues. So all good news on the front there. Of course, I would have loved for my Let's Go Streaking Zoom name to continue here, but it does end tonight. And I think it's almost like monumental of this stretch. Like maybe everybody needed a little bit of a break from a little bit of cheese from the Milwaukee Brewers to go on an 8-game win streak. And this might be what saves the entire season, because even during that stretch, they hit a low point where they were shut out 4 times in 5 days. This team looked so lifeless. I was about to put the dagger in them. And then Murph and the boys just all got hot and went on this stretch. This is the baseball season. And I'm not saying that this is a team that I have expectations that are any higher than where I think we started the season, but I'm starting to see the life that I think I had expected for this team when we got here on opening day.
Got some numbers the past 10 games from Yelich. 44 at bats. This is not a small sample size. This is not, this is not 2 games. This is not 1 series. This is over the course of 2 weeks. These are 10 games. 18 hits in 10 games, 14 RBIs, hitting .450 with a .500 on base percentage and a 1.425 OPS. It's just the guy's rolling.
1.4 is ridiculous.
In those 10 games, Rhys Hoskins is hitting 128 with 17 strikeouts. Churio played well. Durbin has been playing all right, but it is fueled by Christian Yelich, and this is it's nuts. There's one guy, and yeah, the pitching is starting to get their wheels back under them, but everything else has kind of been mediocre. A little bit of better hitting from Durbin, which shouldn't be a game changer for this team's win-loss at the end of the year. A little bit of better action from Ortiz taking a couple walks, but no, this is Christian Yelich. It is a one-man job on a team of 9. You just don't see it very much in baseball, and it's astounding to see, man. It's really good stuff.
And we said it. We said they were missing the one beast that people were actually scared of, because that one guy makes everybody around him better. And if Yelich can just be that guy, then I think the sky's the limit for this team. I mean, I look at this pitching depth, and of course, guys, we're hoping they get healthy. We got some Brandon Woodruff news again, some sad news today. But, I mean, Jose Quintana is back in this rotation. Quinn Priester looks like a major league pitcher as well. He has pitched very well as of recent. I said Quintana was back. Freddie Peralta has had, if you can even call it a rough stretch, he's had a rough stretch, but he hasn't had a blow-up game. He's just had some starts that he hasn't been able to go deep into ball games. It's the Freddie Peralta that we saw last year, but we haven't really seen a bad start from Freddie yet this year, so you just live with it.
He was rolling to start the day today. He went through 3 innings. I think he pitched 40 pitches through 3 innings, 6 strikeouts through those 3 innings. Like he's absolutely rolling. And then, one on base, which I think that was a very catchable ball in left field, that first double before the 2-run shot. Was that Collins playing in left tonight?
Yeah, he jumped against the wall, right?
Yeah.
And it went over his glove. It was weird. I mean, yeah, Collins I'll always give grace to. The metrics always play for Collins, but he's had a couple of balls in the last couple of weeks where it's like, yeah, he probably could have caught that, but it's the fact that he had good positioning to get there. But it feels
It feels like this bullpen has been doing a lot of work. Do you think are we going to go get a middle reliever, or when Woodruff comes back, or someone else comes up, are we moving a starter to the middle relief? Because that's got to be the juice where something needs, we could use a hitter for that 6, 7, 8 spot, something in there. But to me, this team, to take that next step, to really be like, okay, now we're a competitive team, is a stud in the middle reliever. It can't just be Uribe to Miguel every single time. I really don't believe in Koenig all that much. It feels like there's some questions in the middle.
I think they got him. I think DL Hall looks really good right
now.
Yeah. I think DL Hall is going to be that guy. I think Aaron Ashby is also going to have that middle relief role. Nick Mears was way overpitched for that 2 week stretch, and he kind of got burnt out. I'm scared. I'm glad. I don't know if he pitched today. I actually didn't watch the last couple of innings of that game, but they need to give him some rest so he can recuperate so we don't have a repeat of what happened to Brian Hudson once again. I think we talked about the last time we were on the podcast. But DL Hall, I think, is going to be a good guy that can go and get 2 or 3 innings in the middle. Uribe is so good, man. I think I would trust him almost as much as anybody in baseball to close out a ninth inning. But they still have the faith in McGill. And I mean, McGill he hasn't blown anything up too bad. He has pitched well this year, but I'll just say I think Abner Uribe might at the end of the year be one of the best relievers in all of baseball. I think his stuff is that good. They call him the Cowboy. I don't know if you have heard, but like his walkout song when he's at AmFam is "Cowboy Baby" by it's Kid Rock.
That Kid Rock,
and
yeah.
it's electric. It is such a blast, and every time he goes and gets off, he shoots the guns up in the air, puts them back in the holster. I love the mantra. He's got it rolling. McGill has looked really good, as I said. Koenig, I don't call him a lights out guy, but I think he's good, and I think he's at least trustworthy. Mears,
I wouldn't pitch him in a playoff game. I don't want to see Koenig get out there. If it's a 3-game playoff game, like I don't want to see Koenig on the mound at all. I'm looking for someone that when you got a game to need it, that's the guy I think we're missing. You know, when you go back to back, it can't just be Uribe Miguel. I want one more guy that I can trust back there.
I think Mears should be that guy, and he was until they pitched him like 4 days in a row. He had like a .6 ERA and looked incredible. I mean, I trust him to that point. And Koenig's been good except for the one outing. I think he gave up 4 runs. So I don't think bullpen's where you need a fix. I'm gonna just live and die by this. It is shortstop or third base. They need to pick up somebody. I don't know if it's Moncada. I don't know if there are a couple of guys actually on the market. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa in Pittsburgh. He's not a spectacular player, and it just smells like Brewer to me. How he can hit 270 with not a lot of pop, but play a lot of different positions. He just feels like a Milwaukee Brewer. I don't know if they go and attack him within the division, but that's where you need the most help. You have a lot of depth in this starting pitching. I think the bullpen, like I said, if you get Nick Mears back there, you have a 7, 8, and 9 that I feel really comfortable with. And we haven't seen a whole lot of Aaron Ashby yet. He was lights out going into the playoffs last year as well. I think DL Hall is going to find his spot. At least what we've seen so far has looked really good. He mowed through that Phillies lineup. They said we were going a max 4 innings. I think got through the 4 innings, shut piece with like 42 pitches and looked like he could keep going, but they said max 4 innings. Now we're going to go to Quinn Priester, which actually worked perfectly. I think Priester ended up going like 5 innings after that, and that was the entire game. You watch Yelich hit 2 home runs. That's a method that they might go with as well. I think Hall's going to be really valuable to this team. They said, don't think it's bullpen. Don't need a starting pitcher. Boy, you'd love to have one, but you have too many already. And what team is going to go and trade a high-end starting pitcher for 2 lower-end starting pitchers? Like that's
the Brewers.
Well, there's only one Milwaukee Brewers in all of baseball. Great answer, though. But I think there are answers that you can find at third base or shortstop, and Joey Ortiz can only hit 185 for so long. Like it's to the point where you need to see those numbers start to climb, or you call guys up from AAA whether they're ready or not. Like there are a couple of guys that like you just throw out there, like 26-year-old like Freddie Zamora. You haven't heard of him, but he was a second-round pick back in 2020. He's hitting over 300 in AAA. You might see him play shortstop. Like there are a couple guys. I think it's Anthony Sigler, who's a catcher, but they actually started him at shortstop today. I think they're getting ready to call somebody up to the bigs. Like it's opportunity is knocking on the door for somebody in AAA for Milwaukee just because Joey Ortiz hasn't been there.
Yeah, completely agree. Hey, we got a fun little project to do, huh? Let's build a roster. Brewpack put something out on Twitter. I think they put out the 21st century since the 2000s all-time Brewers Did they put out the 10? Did they put out starting pitchers with it too? Tell me what we're building here.
So we'll just do the lineup. This was from Brewpack on Twitter, which he does a lot of stuff on Twitter. He has his own podcast as well. Haven't actually talked to him, but really good Twitter follow. Just go find him. Awesome stuff. But he had the Brewers Century team so far, and he picked a player for each position, and they pick his best season. So, like, for instance, Bill Hall in 2006 was a monster. He was only a monster in 2006, but that was the pick. And I think it's good. But I kind of want to put a different twist on this where you take the better player. Like, I'm not going to say Bill Hall is the best shortstop that we have seen in Milwaukee in the 20th century. Maybe he is. That's what the exercise is for. So we're going to pick the best overall player at each position that Milwaukee has seen since 2000. And I think this is a fun exercise. And there are 2 spots where I think maybe even 3 spots where you really see an argument. Oh, never mind. I think we might see 4. So we'll start it off at the number 2 position at catcher. There is a little bit of controversy here. Is it William Contreras or is it Jonathan Lucroy?
I think if we're taking the peak of the player, Lucroy was electric. If you're taking the career, it's got to be Contreras. He's more consistent batter. He's someone I feel really good about. When Lucroy was up to bat late, you're like, oh, this guy's hot right now. This is going to be fun. When Contreras is up to bat, I don't care what inning it is, what the situation it is. I feel good about he's going to put a ball in play. Defensively, offensively, picture of consistency, the better brother. Personally, I would lean, if we're going overall career, better player, Contreras.
I think so as well. And it stinks to see it right now because this is the worst that he has played as a Brewer, but I really think that middle finger that he has broken is really hindering him. You see that. He's not playing this. He's not catching balls the way that he used to. He's not swinging like he used to. But I do think Contreras is the overall better player. Lucroy just had a really crazy peak in like 2014 where he hit over 300, which was a blast to watch. But we've seen Contreras do this for a number of years now, and I imagine he's going to be back next year, and then I imagine he's not going to be a Brewer after that because he's going to get paid a whole lot of money, and we might talk about that in a little bit. First base, this should be a pretty easy one. This is Prince Fielder.
That's Prince Fielder.
No argument, no explanation needed. One of the purest power hitters of all time. Actually showed up and made an appearance in Bree's wedding vows to me because of the highlight videos that I constantly bring up. Just watching a big man be an athlete like Prince Fielder was, the way he could swing a bat and just send the ball into orbit is something like no other. Very easy pick at first base. Now, second
shout
base,
out with an honorable mention at first base, Lyle Overbay.
Oh boy,
yeah.
What about Richie Sexton? Richie Sexton.
Is that who I'm thinking of? Richie Sexton? Yeah.
Well, Overbay was there, but Overbay was not hitting over 40 bombs.
Sure.
Sexton had 2 crazy years. Carlos Lee was also there and had some short but good seasons in Milwaukee as well. I mean, you've seen it. Eric Thames is a name I think you have to at least mention, former lacrosse logger. But, I mean, where Milwaukee's at right now with Rhys Hoskins, he has to be happy. He's kind of breaking that curse of average to below average first baseman ever since Prince Fielder left. You feel comfortable with him now, but he's not in this conversation. Mm-hmm. So Prince Fielder very easily at first base. Second base, saw some controversy. I'm going to hand it off to you, Sam. You got to make a pick here.
The best second baseman that I've seen play for the Brewers is Bryce Turang right now. He's okay. I think he's got it. I want it. My heart wants to give, and probably my first favorite baseball player was Ricky Weeks. I want to gotta shout out Ricky Weeks for the second baseman as far as Brewers culture goes. One of my favorite players of all time. I went to a game when I was a young lad, and he made 2 absolutely incredible plays. I was a fan. He had the dreads. He had the swag. Shout out Ricky Weeks, but for Bryce Turang, he's a Platinum Glove winner. He started the season hitting like $5 million. I'm a huge Bryce Turang fan. I think he can hit, he can field, he can bunt. He's shown a little bit of pop. Are you with me on this, or who you got?
This is the controversy. I think we can safely say weakest position that we have to pick from here. And not that Ricky Weeks or Bryce Durang are bad players by any means, but when you look at this in the whole landscape, like the peak of Ricky Weeks was about 2 years. It was really good. Not great defensively. He had the power. He could get on base. Then I remember he rolled up his ankle, gained a bunch of weight, and then was never the same player after that. And Bryce Durang, I think the sky's the limit for this kid, especially if he continues to improve his bat to ball skills and really solidifies himself as a good major league hitter because he's one of the best gloves that I've seen, period. I think you have to pick Bryce Durang just for the fact of how good he is defensively. He's one of the best in all of baseball. And I'd say he's an average hitter that can steal 60 bases in a year. He's a very, very good baseball player. He's gritty, and I think we still have a peak to see yet from Bryce Durang offensively. So I think that's the pick.
I think he could be a big contract for us. I would love to see him sign a little 6-year or something action like that.
We got some spoiler alerts here. We'll stop with the contract conversations here. Shortstop coming up. This one's also very interesting. The pick that Brewpack had was 2006 Bill Hall. Bill Hall, you bring into the conversation just because of that year that he had. I mean, Orlando Arcia was there for some good years for Milwaukee, but
some bad years.
He was there for some bad years, personal bad years for Orlando Arcia, good years for the Milwaukee Brewers. And I'm trying, Unieski Betancourt was there. He was my first Brewers shortstop. JJ Hardy is in conversation here. Gene Segura. I actually have a jersey of Gene Segura. He made an all-star team with Milwaukee. I think that has to come into the conversation. I think it's Bill Hall. I think they might have had the pick right. I'm going to say it. Another weak position here at shortstop.
I'm going to lean J.J. Hardy just because I think he held it down for a little bit longer. Bill Hall was a little bit more like a five-tool kind of guy. He played every single infield position. Big Bill Hall fan. And if this game is on Mother's Day, I want 9 Bill Halls. But I'd give the nod to J.J. Hardy. I think he's just a little bit more consistent, a little bit longer. I don't know if he made an All-Star game. He might have made a couple All-Star games. I'm not sure if that was with Baltimore or Milwaukee. But
it was Baltimore. He had his best years by far in Baltimore. He was kind of the up-and-coming, very good defender in Milwaukee. Then Milwaukee shipped him over to the Minnesota Twins, and we might actually talk about who they got back in the return later.
We got a
third baseman. So that we had this conversation. I texted you last week, like late Saturday night when I'm scrolling through Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
I got a Ramos Ramirez. It's hard to pick. I mean, Mike Moustakas was there for that 2018 team. And then after that, there really hasn't been a guy to hold it down unless I'm being stupid here. But what Ramos Ramirez did for 3 years, actually might have been longer than that. What he did in Milwaukee was awesome. What he did over the course of his career was incredible. He played 18 seasons in the major leagues. I texted this one to Sam because I love this statistic. He struck out 100 times or over just once in his career. In 2001, he struck out exactly 100 times. Every other season was under that mark. He was a perennial all-star. He was overshadowed by the steroid era early in his career, but just somebody who was consistent and actually almost won a Gold Glove at third base in Milwaukee as well in 2012. Ramos Ramirez is my pick.
So I'm going to break the rules a little bit because I want to fit 4 outfielders in. I think Carlos Gomez played some third base, didn't he?
No, you're thinking of somebody else.
Give me Gomez at third. I want 4 outfielders.
You want to know who played third base? He started his career there, but was so bad that they had to move him to the outfield.
I don't want to. Yeah, who is it? Does it start with an R?
Oh yeah,
Bronny played third for a little bit, right?
Yes, he did.
Cool. Ryan Braun is my third baseman then. We're making a batting order, not a defense, not an infield. We're making a batting order.
I knew guys that I played with in high school that were probably better third basemen than Ryan Braun. But yeah, we're gonna hit, we're gonna bang, and Ryan Braun, that's what he did. Probably the best pure hitter, or one of the best pure hitters that I've ever watched. As dominant as it was, of course, we talked about his career being tarnished by the steroids or whatnot. Sam, you're cheating a little bit, but I'll let you do it just for the sake of. I mean, Aramis Ramirez is not there that long to really consider him a career Brewer. But to be completely honest, there's only two career Brewers that we can talk about, and it's Ryan Braun and it's Christian Yelich. And we can go to left field right now, and I'll just say Christian Yelich.
That's Christian Yelich. Easy peasy.
Easy, yeah.
Are we
Easy
agreeing in
enough.
center field too? Are you Carlos Gomez in center? Are you a Niger Morgan fan?
So I love Niger Morgan. I have a Niger Morgan bobblehead, which,
Okay.
and what you guys see here, this of course is an improvement where it's not just my white wall or wine bottles that are hanging up because I'm now in my mother-in-law's basement, so I can kind of put some stuff behind me. So I'll get bobbleheads up over the course of time, but those have not made the trip across the state yet. Love Niger Morgan. He had one good year, just so happened to be one of the best years in Milwaukee baseball history. Actually hit 301 that year, had the big hit in the National League Division Series to take down Arizona. That was really the moment that I think I fell in love with baseball, and that's where the Milwaukee Brewers became that team that I was going to follow more than everybody else. This is an interesting one. What Gomez did, he got MVP votes,
Yeah.
and he did it for a couple of seasons. It's between Gomez or Kane for me, and it makes it difficult because Kane had one really, really, really good year in 2018 in center field for Milwaukee, and then he won the Gold Glove in 2019, but then his career was over after 2020. He did not hit well in 19 or 20, of course, signed that free agent contract in 2018. I think I got to go Gomez. He did it for 2 years in a row and was one of the best in baseball.
Guy was electric. He was Gomez jerseys everywhere. He was taking over.
Is that your pick?
That's my pick too. We got Yelly in left. We're agreeing on left. We're agreeing in center. And I know we're agreeing in right field. Because you don't have Corey Hart over there. That's got to be Churio.
No, it's Corey Hart right now. Come on,
God.
Corey Hart made all-star teams. Like, we got to see it yet. Like, it's hard to judge Churio. If you give me 2 years, it should be Jackson Churio. Yes.
You got an
At this point in time right now, it's Corey Hart.
at bat. It's bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Bases loaded. Do you take prime Corey Hart or today's Jackson Churio?
See, I don't know which day of the week it is for Jackson Churio. Because that boy is so hot and so cold all at the same time. It's hard to pick. Corey Hart had some clutch hits, man. That's an interesting point to bring up because I remember some walk-off home runs from Corey Hart. I'm going to take Corey Hart right now. Like, if you would have said at the end of last season in 2024, it would have been a different answer for Jackson Churio. But there's still some things I need to see from him stepping up and moving forward. It should be Churio even after this season. I would expect for it to be more of a conversation, but I am looking for more length here, especially for the fact that Corey Hart really did it from like 2007 through 2012.
Yeah.
He was a monster. They moved him from right field to first base and held his own. He actually played a really good first base in 2012 when Matt Gamble blew up his knee. Actually got into an Instagram argument in the comments section over Matt Gamble this week. It was kind of crazy.
That's got to be the only Matt Gamble Twitter conversation going on.
It was nuts. So, right field, you're going Churio, and I'm going Hart.
Yeah. Let's pick a couple pitchers, a couple starters, closer.
Couple starters. The first one, this is interesting because, okay, Ben Sheets is in here. I don't know
How
if
many
he's
are we
the
taking?
ace.
Let's take three. Let's take
three. Okay, I'll start at the top. Your only Cy Young since 1982, Corbin Burns, is the ace of this staff.
I like it.
I'll let you pick the second guy.
Got to be Ben Sheets.
Yeah.
He's up there.
The
He did it
third
for
one,
too
it
long.
gets
He's too good.
interesting.
It does. There's a couple options. Gallardo is an option.
Gallardo is.
Consistent. Did it for a while. Never peaked he wasn't a Cy Young type of guy, but number one pitcher, he was your dude for a long time.
I think he has to be the answer because he did it also from like 2007. No, 2008. He was a rookie, and then he did
CC
it until,
Sabathia,
like,
there we go. Come on. Give me CC.
Corbin, Ben Sheets, and CC Sabathia. I love it. And then one closer.
Man, Hoffman was really cool to have in a Brewers uniform.
He wasn't that good as a Brewer.
No,
I mean, he was fine, but
I as honorable mention Derek Turnbow, but it definitely has to be Hader. Honorable mention to Derek Turnbow. The guy was a freak.
I think you're thinking of John Axford and not Derek Turnbow.
Oh, I'm thinking of Derek Turnbow. I'm thinking of Derek Turnbow.
All right. Well, honorable mention goes to Derek Turnbow. Screw you, John Axford. That 1 year you were the Axe Man and let the whole league on fire. It's Josh Hader. That's no doubt about it. He's one of the best relief pitchers of all time, multiple time reliever of the year in the National League. Not a hard decision. I will never forget where I was the day he was traded from the Milwaukee Brewers. That was one of the most interesting trades of all time, especially in our franchise history. We'll just shift right into the not a whole lot of Packers news coming out, not a whole lot of Bucks news at all. So we're just going to go right to the cheese grater to end us off today. And with all of our foreshadowing that we had over the course of the episode, my first question is who for the Milwaukee Brewers right now deserves that next extension? Because you got a couple of guys that are going to have contracts coming up, and I don't know if you're going to be able to pay everybody, and they're going to try to get ahead of the ball. Who do you think they sign, maybe even during this season?
I didn't know this question was coming, but I'm doubling down on Bryce Turang. He's a model of consistency, and he can do everything. He doesn't seem like his down years might be 240, type of player.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's ever really going to struggle. He puts the bat on the ball. He might not ever hit 40 dingers, and he won't ever hit 40 dingers in a season. And I think that's fine. But having a consistent infielder, you can put him anywhere. You can put him at third if you really needed to. If you get a good second baseman coming up. I mean, it might not be his forte, but you're going to tell me that Bryce Turang and you roll him out at third base, and you're like, oh, we have a liability at third base.
Well,
I don't see.
My only pushback is the fact that he had arm fatigue after they put him at shortstop for a week in spring training. Like, I don't know if his body can physically handle it. He could probably do it. Oh, he'd probably be an incredible third baseman. I don't know if the arm holds up, though. That's my only pushback.
He's my extension. I also want to see Mizorowski signed. I've been high on him for a long time. I want Mizorowski action.
That's a good answer, and it's going to be interesting with that pitching. Someone else is probably going to get hurt in the meantime, and he's probably going to get some action. He has to pitch in the big leagues this year. He has to. There's no way that he does not. Even if it's towards the end of the year, to be one of those, that's your guy. That's your middle relief, nails. That's what they did with Burns. That's what they did with Woodruff. Like that back end bullpen, throw him out there, let him light the world on fire. That could be your guy. I like both of those answers. I think Sal Frelick is at least in this conversation too. I think he's a 300 hitter. He's a Gold Glover as well. Saw a little bit of that Minnie Mouse power again today out to right field at the Great American Small Field. I think he deserves it as well. You got both Turang and Frelick, and then if you look to the minors, what you see out of Jacob Mizorowski, you would think that it plays. We haven't seen health concerns, so I'm not going to bring him up.
Lock him up. We're switching to the football right now. My two graders for the day are going to be football related and wide receiver related. There's only one wide receiver in the NFC North with over 100 career reception touchdowns for his team, for that team and that team only. Only one guy did it. He has 110. Second place in the NFC North history is 99. Who has the most receiving yards for their team in the NFC North?
I know second place is Don Hudson.
Second place is Don Hudson.
Easy enough. Sterling didn't play long enough. I would think that you're going within Green Bay, but I'm not. Ooh, I think I got it. It's Chris Carter.
Bang! Chris Carter.
Yes.
He was like that. He was
Mr.
like that for a long
Consistency.
time.
We don't talk about Chris Carter the way that we should talk about Chris Carter. That guy was a monster. I mean, he got overshadowed when Randy Moss came in. That's what it was. But Chris Carter is one of the greatest wideouts of all time and needs to be talked about more. And that's a big reason why. 110 tutties. Oh, same team. Awesome stuff. How much? We'll stick with football here. How much does Frank Ragnow, center of the Detroit Lions, how much does that affect the NFC North?
I still think the Lions are the best team. It impacts the Lions more than the NFC North. I still think the Lions are the favorite to win the NFC North. But gosh, that's got to change some. That's your center. He touches the ball every single play. He's the one calling out defense. Now, I don't know. Maybe they have different dynamics within their line, but that's a major position to just up and retire. And he did it with enough time going into the season. It wasn't like a week before the season. So I still believe in Dan Campbell. I think this team is still really young, really loaded, very talented.
Let me add to this question.
Yeah.
How much does Frank Ragnow retiring and then losing both your offensive and defensive coordinator in Detroit affect the NFC North? Do you think they're shaking in their boots at all?
Detroit's a wagon.
All right.
Good, dude. I'd love to be with you, but I think their strengths are outside of that. They still have Big Penny Sue on the line, and he's not blocking five guys, but I think Detroit's strengths are still there. All right, we're gonna get a little cheesy with the next grader. Arrange these four players from most receiving touchdowns to least receiving touchdowns. I'm gonna list them chronologically. Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, who had the most to the least touchdowns with the Packers.
This is interesting. I think Donald Driver probably has the most yards. So I will. Where did you start? Did you start?
Driver, Jennings, Jordy, and Devontae. So the four horsemen of wide receivers in our lifetime.
I will go Donald Driver as one. Just because the length is there. I will go
Wrong.
Devontae Adams as two.
Donald Driver is not
Nelson
one.
3. And Jennings 4.
Jennings is 4. Donald Driver is not 1.
Okay. Is it Adams?
Devontae Adams leads the pack, no pun intended, with 73 touchdowns. He has more than Greg Jennings, more than Donald Driver, more than Jordy Nelson.
That's pretty incredible stuff.
He's at 73. So who you got second after Devontae?
I want to say Donald Driver, just because he was there longer and I think he has more yards. I mean, Nelson was great, but I mean, after 2016, then he blew out his knee and then he was gone. I don't even think he was there.
Isn't that crazy that Jordy has more touchdowns than Donald Driver and Greg Jennings?
That's incredible. But I mean, he did lead the league. Like White Lightning, man. No, Jordy,
and then Donald Driver, and then Greg Jennings. That's their touchdown ranking.
Wow, that's a great list. Great grader there, Sam. Love that. Devontae Adams. Wow, 73 touchdowns. Like what? He came on. I think he was drafted in 14, and he was out the door in 22. 73 touchdowns in that. Like he could retire today, first ballot Hall of Famer. Like that is without a doubt. He's done his work. He's been there. Well,
shout out to Jordy Nelson finishing his career with Green Bay at 69.
Hey, amen. Bro, 60. That's a lot of production for the short amount of time. Well, I think that's going to do it for us today. How does Friday look for you, Sam? I know I'm going to get off work at 5 now with my new schedule. We want
Friday
to push
sounds.
Next.
Hey, big music festival in town this weekend. I won't be around this weekend, but we can get a little cheesy next week.
Yeah, okay, we'll try for either next Monday or next Tuesday. You guys will know when we post. Can't promise anything. Things are weird. But thank you for listening in today. We'll see you guys next week. This has been Cody and Sam with another edition of A Little Bit of Cheese, your bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast.